The film begins in Australia, as Junior, a 19-year-old boy, is transported to a prison. Junior grew up in a dysfunctional family and has been in legal trouble since he moved out a few years ago. He is currently serving a 6-month prison sentence for what appears to be a minor offense. After a thorough search for potential weapons, Junior is taken to his cell, where he meets his cellmate, Eric. They don't say anything, but it's clear that Eric is really scared of something. Junior gradually adjusts to the strict prison schedule. He frequently sees Brendan Lynch, a notorious armed robber, playing chess during break time. Brendan also notices the teenager staring in his direction several times but does not initiate a conversation. Nonetheless, Brendan appears to be in regular contact with a businessman named Sam via the prison phone. Although the two appear to be playing chess over the phone, they are actually hatching a much bigger plan. Junior passes Brendan while he is playing chess one afternoon during his lunch break. The teenager sees an opportunity for a checkmate that the notorious criminal has yet to notice and informs him of the move. Brendan is impressed by Junior's sharp mind, but he warns him to respect personal boundaries. In the meantime, Junior learns that Eric is being physically abused by a gang leader named Dave. They regularly drag him to the prison bathroom while everyone else acts as if nothing is wrong. One night, as the inmates return to their cells, Junior notices Eric attaching a razor blade to the back of a toothbrush. It appears that he has finally resolved to fight back against the abuse. However, the next morning, Junior awakens to a horrific scene. Eric is lying on the floor, blood pouring from his throat. The razor blade weapon was not for Dave, but for doing the unthinkable. Junior desperately calls for assistance, but his cellmate does not survive. With Eric no longer alive, Dave and his group turn their attention to Junior as their next target. Junior is cornered by Dave's men on his way back to his cell one evening. Fortunately, Brendan, along with his crew members Sterlo and Merv, save him just in time. The notorious crime boss then summons Junior to his cell for a conversation. Initially, he teaches the teenager about the harsh realities of prison life. Mind your own business or prepare to fight back. However, because Junior lacks the strength to fight back on his own, Brendan suggests a compromise. He will protect him for the remainder of his prison sentence, and in exchange, when Junior is released, he will have to perform whatever tasks Brendan assigns him. The teenager requests a few days to make a decision. Several days later, Dave and his gang ambush Junior and drag him to the restroom. But Brendan and his men are once again able to save him. They also beat the crap out of Dave and throw him down the stairs, effectively ending his reign of terror. "Go back to making chicken, you bastard!" Following this incident, Junior finally accepts Brendan's offer. According to the plan, he will go to Sam's place after his prison sentence is completed. The businessman will provide him with a secure hideout as well as the weapons required to hijack a helicopter. Then, Junior must force the helicopter pilot to land inside the prison yard, pick up Brendan and his crew, and flee before the cops can apprehend them. After several months, Junior's day of freedom finally arrives. As instructed, the teenager goes straight to Sam, who gives him a beachside apartment and a briefcase containing Brendan's belongings. Later that evening, Junior arrives at the apartment and is astounded by the breathtaking views surrounding it. He opens the briefcase and discovers fake passports, new clothes, and a pistol inside. That night, a lovely young woman named Tasha visits his apartment to use the bathroom. She is one of several women Sam keeps around and employs for various tasks. She gives Junior cash and a cell phone so that he can receive important instructions. The teenager is clearly smitten with her beauty, but as soon as her task is completed, she leaves. Next, Junior visits the trailer of a retired soldier known as Private Wilson. As Brendan instructed, he obtains a variety of advanced assault weapons from Wilson. After a brief lesson on how to handle them, Junior visits a local tour agency, which arranges helicopter flights and books tours. Mid-flight, he pulls a gun from his briefcase and orders the pilot to direct it towards the prison. Meanwhile, Brendan, Merv, and Sterlo use a makeshift knife to hold a prison guard hostage. They force the remaining guards to open and rush out of the main gate. Soon after, Junior arrives with the helicopter, and they all quickly climb aboard, leaving the hostage behind. They fly a long way before landing in the middle of a mining field, where Sam's car waits for them. They drive away, leaving the pilot unharmed. On their way to Sam's safe house, the gang stops for a quick lunch. While Merv goes in to buy them snacks, a radio broadcast announces their prison break. The reporter lists each of their names and crimes one by one. To their utter disgust, they learn that Merv was serving a sentence for assaulting a schoolgirl years ago. Sterlo and Brendan feel betrayed and disgusted because Merv concealed this information from them. So, when he returns to the car, Brendan brutally beats him and throws his unconscious body by the roadside. The remaining trio drives away and soon arrives at Sam's beachfront apartment. Although Sterlo adores the luxurious arrangement, Brendan warns that they would be vulnerable in the event of an attack because the apartment is open on all sides. They then travel to Sam's mansion, where they are briefed on their task. To everyone's surprise, the task requires stealing 6 blocks of pure gold from a mine on the outskirts of Kalgoorlie. Sam has already arranged for security passes to the mine, allowing them to enter disguised as electricians. If they succeed, he will pay them a whopping $2 million each. With such a large reward, Brendan accepts the offer and begins planning the heist. Junior sees Tasha later that night at Sam's mansion. He follows her outside to the swimming pool and tries to talk to her, but Sam's impulsive nephew Josh arrives and pushes him into the water. Junior, who does not know how to swim, begins struggling and gasping for air. But Tasha comes to his rescue, dragging him out of the water. Brendan intervenes and breaks up the argument between the two men. Later, as an embarrassed Junior walks down the street, Tasha arrives in her car and invites him to a Chinese restaurant. During dinner, he asks why she stays with someone old like Sam when she appears to have enough money on her own. In response, she tells the story of the last girl who tried to flee. She was tracked down and killed. Brendan expresses his rage the next morning over the episode involving Junior and Josh the night before. As a perfectionist, he chastises Junior for allowing a woman to distract him from his task at hand. Later that afternoon, they relocate to a new hideout set up by Sam, a rather discreet location deep in Kalgoorlie's suburbs. Brendan and Junior then travel to the gold mine, where they investigate the area and plan their heist. The scene then shifts to the day of the heist, with the entire group, including Josh, entering the mine. They are disguised as ordinary-looking electricians. Outside, Brendan's friend and local race car driver, Steve, is waiting in a getaway vehicle. He also keeps an eye out for any potential police arrivals at the mine. As directed, Junior climbs into the mine's ventilation duct and crawls into the room where impure gold is processed into solid blocks. He suddenly descends from the ventilation duct and holds everyone at gunpoint. This prevents the workers from sounding the panic alarm, allowing the rest of the crew to enter undetected. Once inside, Brendan takes the initiative and orders 2 employees to carry out the process of converting the flowing liquid gold into solid bars. Just as everything was going well, Josh panicked and shot an employee in the leg. Brendan, furious, teaches him a lesson by punching him in the face, but the damage is already done. Soon after, Steve alerts them to the approaching police sirens. Along with the rest of the crew, they load 6 bars of gold and begin their escape plan. They successfully navigate the mine's outer perimeter while disguised as workers. They then use the hostages as shields and escape the mine in their getaway vehicle. However, several police cars begin chasing them, firing continuously at their vehicle. Just as the gang flees the outskirts of Kalgoorlie, a bullet pierces Sterlo's abdomen, seriously injuring him. After an intense chase, Steve finally outwits the cops, causing several pursuing police vehicles to collide. But at this point, Sterlo realizes he's not going to make it. With his final breath, he requests that his share of the stolen gold be given to his young daughter. That is stupid. What will a kid do with gold bars? The group is devastated by his loss. They have no choice but to move on. Later, they hide their vehicle inside a truck and drive to their safe house. But Sam tells them to dispose of the car first and remove any evidence. Brendan and Junior drive the car to a remote location, torch it while Sterlo's body is still inside, and then push it off a cliff. While returning to their safe house, Junior receives a message from Tasha informing him that Sam has betrayed them. This concerns the duo, so they sneakily visit a grave where Brendan has hidden some money. They know Sam will convert the gold into cash in Melbourne, so they pack their belongings and board a train to the same city. Junior and Tasha are reunited on the train and end up hooking up in the restroom. It's hot and unsanitary, When they arrive in Melbourne, they seek out a low-cost hotel to avoid drawing unwanted attention. Brendan, on the other hand, is not pleased with their developing romance. One night, while Tasha is out getting takeaway food, he warns Junior that her promiscuous past may jeopardize their future plans. Brendan promises to give Junior more money if he cuts ties with her. Unfortunately, Tasha witnesses the exchange and is deeply hurt. She flees in frustration, but Junior pursues her, desperate to explain his side of the story. Tasha instead warns Junior that once the job is finished, Brendan may abandon him, just as he suggested doing with her. Meanwhile, one of Sam's hitmen, Wayne, tracks down the motel and discovers Brendan inside. He points his gun at him and informs him that Sam has placed a price on his head. Brendan, on the other hand, takes advantage of the situation by convincing Wayne that Sam has also cheated him. He then requests his assistance and promises to compensate him with a larger sum of money. Wayne, who is greedy, accepts the offer right away. The next morning, Junior and Brendan set out for the location where Sam was supposed to hand in the gold bricks. They arrive just in time to see Josh deliver the briefcase containing the gold bars to the dealer. Wayne unexpectedly arrives in his pickup truck and interrupts their conversation. He charges at them at high speeds and slams his truck into Josh's car, killing several men in the process. Brendan seizes the opportunity to take out the remaining men and retrieve the briefcase. With the first part of their mission completed, Junior and Brendan proceed to Sam's house, as they have a score to settle with him. When Brendan arrives, he wastes no time and shoots Sam twice in the gut, effectively ending their rivalry. Brendan and Junior seek refuge in a motel after the incident. While Brendan hides the gold suitcase under the bed, Junior makes an excuse to go outside and mails Tasha the motel's location and room key. The two then buy a boat for themselves, intending to leave the country permanently. Brendan and Junior left early the next morning in their boat. Brendan, as Tasha had warned, betrays the teenager by offering him only a small portion of the gold. But after spending months with a master criminal like Brendan, Junior has picked up a few tricks of his own. He had anticipated this betrayal, so he boldly admits that he had given Tasha the motel's location. She then removed the gold bars, replaced them with useless stones, and hid the real thing elsewhere. Brendan, enraged by the revelation, drags Junior into the water, where they engage in a violent scuffle. After a while, only Brendan rises to the surface because Junior is unable to swim. But he quickly rescues the drowning boy, and the two climb back onto the boat. Eventually, Brendan sees no point in fighting and admits that the teenager has outwitted him. Junior, on the other hand, promises to send Brendan his fair share of the money before leaving on a small boat for the shore. Later, Brendan returns to the motel, where he is apprehended and imprisoned after a local woman recognizes him. The final scene depicts Brendan as a changed man who has accepted his fate. However, several months later, he receives a message from Junior indicating the location of his share of the gold. Brendan feels a renewed sense of hope as he looks out the window of his cell. Subscribe to see more videos like this. Turn on notifications and leave a like to support the channel. Thank you for watching.